Welcome to On the Chain with Jeff and Chip.
Hey, this is Jeff with On the Chain, and welcome to our roundtable discussion. Tonight, we have a special guest with us, James Malpass. Hey, James, welcome to On the Chain. Welcome to the roundtable. Your first time on.
Hey, Jeff, I really appreciate y'all having me on, man. I definitely interested in sitting down and having some discussion with y'all and seeing how this goes. I've seen a couple of guests that you've had on, and the conversation normally goes into a good, positive direction. So really excited to be on. Thank y'all for having me on.
Good to have you, man.
Pleasure. Our pleasure. So let's kick this off. I know you've been in the space for a while. Love to just do a quick kind of intro. Maybe we have some new viewers that don't know Malpass. Maybe just give a little bit of a Malpass intro. Would be nice.
All right, I'm James Malpass. I started off as Malpass from the office, doing quick little videos here and there, just throwing something out there. Then co-founder of the XRP Zoo with Kickboy Triple and 1000 Bones XRP, and that went very well. And then recently have ventured out onto my own to do my solo career as a content creator here in the space, and just really and truly love the community, love everything about XRP, and excited about the future of digital assets in a whole.
Man, that's awesome. Real excited about your new channel. What are your thoughts on that? What's your concept? Where do you want to take that?
Realistically, I really want to see the space come together. I mean, not really so much just an XRP content creator, but more so of a blockchain and digital asset content creator. And there's a lot of things that are going on, a lot of good things that are happening in the space. And I think that the further we reach out, the more we learn, the more we can actually help out everybody. I want to see the community as not an XRP community, as a Bitcoin community, as a vet community. I want to see it as a digital asset community. And I feel like that putting out good content that speaks the truth, that's not hyping anything, that's not giving outrageous price predictions, that's not telling you to hold here and trade there, that's just really and truly just telling you what's happening in the space. It may take off, it may not take off, but either way, I'm having fun doing it, and I'm just really excited to see the whole picture instead of just looking at one direction and just looking at everything at a whole. I think this, for me, it's been an eye opener. From coming from what the zoo is mainly we just basically bring the community together and just do interviews with everybody in the community and just have a good time. It's a real party setting. And now I'm really and truly just digging in to other projects and just really trying to see what exactly is out there and what the other projects are doing in the space.
That's nice. So, James, one of the reasons that Jeff and I really look towards something else really fits in with your vision. When we founded it on the chain.io, and the whole kind of idea was we really know, and you talk about this extensively in your videos, but we really wanted to get out to the community. I know there's a patented phrase that you use is and if you could help me with it, we can't have it all, but we can have it all.
We may not have it all together, but together we can have it all.
We can have it all. And that's just a beautiful statement, because it's one of the things really we looked for when we were doing On the Chain and bringing content creators in just to kind of come together and show some unity. And as you notice, there's not any hypers on our channel. We don't do price predictions. We don't talk about, but what we do is we uncover stuff about other projects. It's not just XRP, which, I'm going to tell you is my mainstay. I know you're heavily invested in it. So is Jeff. But again, in order for the community to really grow, one thing I was listening to one of your videos, and one thing that I love that you said, we have winners, we have losers. Unfortunately, not everybody's going to get a participation trophy when it comes to investing in cryptocurrency. I'm wondering if you can elaborate on that a little bit.
That all started out with this fair value, this chart that is going around all over the Twitter, and it just really that whole concept of fair value just rubs me the wrong way. I mean, it's not a fair space, it's not a fair world to say, hey, this is what it should be, all that does is just give somebody some anticipation of hopefully it's going to get there one day. We don't know that it's going to get there one day. We don't know how this space is going to turn out in the long run of everything. We speculate. We have good ideas. We've done a lot of research that gives us a basic direction in which we want it to go, but there's no telling that if it's going to go that direction or not. And the realistic the concept behind investing, especially in a cryptocurrency, or whether it be stocks or bonds or whatever, you're going to have losers and you're going to have winners. You're going to have people that are going to sell. You're going to have people that are going to buy what they sell. That's how the market is made. You have market makers and you have market takers. When you're selling, somebody else is going to pick it up. And I'm a firm believer in you don't lose until you sell. I'm not telling anybody to hold through the bearish of bear terms, but realistically, you don't lose the money you invested until you just turn around and sell it and give it to somebody else that's picking up what you're laying down.
Yeah,
Well said.
that's a great statement. That's very well said. And too many people, it's interesting, they talk about that. They talk, oh, what I lost or what I gained, and a lot of people are I think you alluded to that also, the hypesters, on YouTube doing all these price predictions, they're getting a false sense of what the space could be. And many of them are thinking short term also. They're thinking about what the long term, benefit could be, or the fact that it's going to take a long time actually for the space to develop into what it's meant to develop into with full utility. And it's the same thing in a stock market. If you bought Google or Amazon in the beginning, that ride up was up and down. Look at Amazon was up and down. It wasn't always a consistent ride up in the stock market. Microsoft was the same thing. It had big ups, big downs in the beginning, and talking about trading, little amounts. Now it's trading at like $120, $130 a share, but that's over a long period of time. And why would this space be any different? So what are your thoughts on that? Because with the hype and the fact that we're the three of us here are into really building and trying to investigate and give as much research as we can absorb. We want to give that back out to the community without the hype. But
the one thing that I really want, not just my viewers, but also people that I interact with on Twitter. One thing that I want them to realize is 2017, they saw a major uptrend in the price of cryptocurrency. But what they didn't see was the 7 or 8 years beforehand, when it was stagnant, when it didn't do anything, when it didn't go up, when it just rode sideways for 7 or 8 years, and you had these little bleeps and bumps of high prices and then low prices. And then, you have moon people that swear up and down, we're going to the moon any day. Realistically, take a look back at when all this first started and understand that it's a long hold. It's been holding for 10 years. Everybody thinks that 2017 was the first time they ever heard of cryptocurrency, and everybody made it rich, and everybody's got yachts, and everybody's partying. But what about the 7 to 8 years beforehand, when people were struggling, worried about their investment, wondering if it's ever going to move, wondering if they made the right investment? These things take time, and they have to give it the opportunity to play out the way it's going to play out. They are building something, and it's not just Ripple building upon the XRP ledger. It's not just Charles Hoskinson building upon ADA. It's not just Vitalik building upon Ethereum blockchain. They are transforming the globe, and it's not going to happen overnight. They are taking every bit of information that we have and turning the internet into what the internet was supposed to have been. They're turning the transfer of money to accommodate what the internet is going to be once we finally get this thing built and it's actually laid out in front of us and we are able to do what it is that we need to do with it. But you can't lose perspective of how long that's going to take to happen. Where I don't foresee us waking up one day and just be like, whoa, now we're millionaires. Now I'm out. I see y'all later. I'm going to get my yacht and I'm going to party in the Caribbean. I don't see that really and truly just an overnight thing. Do we have the opportunities? Do we have the opportunities for markets and chart patterns to actually play out in the same direction in which they did the previous 10 years that cryptocurrency has been around? Absolutely. Human psychology will move a chart in the same direction over and over and over. Does it happen? Absolutely. Could we have the opportunity to make a decent amount of return on investment in the next 2 to 3 years? Man, we have the opportunity to make whatever it is we can imagine that we can make. I mean, there's no telling what that's going to hit. It might be 30 cents in 2 to 3 years. It might be $3 in 2 to 3 years. We don't know. But human psychology is going to move charts how charts move. And when you think that everything is 100% bullish, that's when you're dead wrong. That's when it's 100% bearish and the rug gets snatched out from under you. And that's how they do the market taking. Once they snatch that rug out from under you and you look around and you say, holy cow, I just lost everything. At that point in time, you're like, I'm out of here. I'm selling. And then there's somebody right beside you laughing, talking about, yeah, I just bought all that guy's stuff. And it happens the same direction going up. You're going to have people that are going to be buying at the top when smart money is actually selling. They're buying smart money's garbage. They're throwing away at this point. Okay, I've made my money. Here you go. You buy this now. And then the whole cycle starts all over again. We fall back down. People are out of jobs. People are out of houses. I've invested way too much than what I can afford. And market makers, market takers, is not everybody's going to get a participation.
Yeah, James, listen, I was just monitoring while you were saying that. You went on that little rant there, and then all of a sudden we lost 15 subs. And by the time you got done with that whole thing, we lost another 30 subs. So because the people, they bailed, they're like, but I think you're spot on. I mean, with that. And one of the things that you had mentioned in one of your videos too, you said Ripple and XRP can't be the only winners. We need more winners. We've heard this whole thing, a rising tide floats all boats. I have always equated it to the stock market. It's like, this is how tribalism, and I know you went into what Brad Garlinghouse had talked about a little bit at Swell about this tribalism. Everybody's like, we got the winning team. And it's like, no, we're all playing on winning teams. It's like the stock market has one stock, and it's Google. And everyone's like, Google, and everybody else is, if you're not Google. I mean, it shows you how silly it is. In order to have an amazing market, in order to get the market, the market cap going, yeah, I know everything follows Bitcoin, but there's going to come a time where Bitcoin will, I don't know if it falls out of relevancy because I always think it'll be a powerhouse. I just don't think it's going to be there, and it's going to be clouded with a lot of the other projects, right? Because what Ethereum is trying to do, moving to, their big push to go off of proof of work to proof of stake, it's at least they have the option to do that. Bitcoin doesn't have any options. Bitcoin options are build a lightning layer on top of it. When you look at the top, let's say 10 or 15 projects, talk about some projects that you really like, or tell me why you like them, or tell us a little bit about what your thoughts are about some of these projects.
Ethereum, I'm interested in Ethereum. I've been looking into Ethereum. I really and truly, I don't see Ethereum being that platform of choice much longer. Ethereum was really an overnight success. It was just that new big dog that come out at the right time, in the right place at the right time, and it really exploded and really went through the roof. But they did have a good concept behind smart contracts. Where they failed was definitely going to be the proof of work. And trying to do a complete algorithm swap from proof of work to proof of stake, I think they have a tall task in front of them, and I'm not 100% sure that it's all going to play out in their benefit. I think that really, I'm super excited about Cardano and ADA. ADA is a really huge sleeping giant that I think the team that is behind ADA has really methodically put this thing into place to where when it's ready for release, that it's really going to do some massive things. I have not as of yet, but I personally plan on doing some pretty good investing into ADA once the project gets a little further and I start seeing some more developments coming through. Their roadmap looks really good. Charles Hoskinson is absolute genius. He's actually co-founder with Vitalik for Ethereum, and he makes some really good points on as far as scalability, interoperability, and sustainability. And like I said in my video, once we get all of those things working together, once we get scalability, interoperability, and sustainability, I think the next one that comes right behind that is profitability. And I think that they have something that's really going to be big when the time comes. I don't have a lot of favorites in the top 10. I'm concerned with VET. I think that there's a lot of people that are overhyping VET way too early. I think that VET has a tremendous amount of time left before they're ready to actually get where they need to get to for them to be profitable. But at the same time, what people don't understand is what VET is actually doing, what they're trying to build, Ethereum already has in place. And they're already trading they already have stuff on their smart contracts being on their blockchain that is tracking food from the time it comes out to the time it actually hits your dinner table. All you got to do is scan the label of the box and everything is on the Ethereum blockchain. So a lot of people don't understand that what VET is trying to accomplish, Ethereum has already accomplished. And I think that VET in the long haul will be an amazing project, but I think they have an extremely long way to go before they get to where they really and truly can compete with what's happening in the top 10.
So the question on that then would be, yes, it's another speculative investment. So I think that goes back, like you're saying, people are overhyping it potentially to say, hey, it's at, I don't know what it's at right now. Let's say 0.006. I don't know if that's accurate, but it's at a point where you put $1,000 in, and the needle does move a little bit, so if you go back, you try to look at, previous digital assets like XRP or some of the others that did move, 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents, $1, obviously back down to 22 cents. But if you put $1,000 into a VeChain now, what could it potentially be? But to your point, people are overhyping it because it might never be, so you might be, it's another one of those projects. I agree where, and I have some other concerns about the project, but I like the concept. I do like the base concept of it. It's an uphill battle with any of these projects, because it's a very competitive space. And just like, we didn't know in the 80s, was it going to be Apple or Microsoft, that was going to be number one? Is IBM onto the right path? Did they, it was all mainframes instead of personal computers, but, some of the others that have been in the space doing something like the IOTA or MyOTA, the Internet of Things, getting the communication. And I mean, there's so many, great ideas out there, but the like you're saying, can it be overhyped because it's competitive? We don't know who's going to be out on top.
And when it gets overhyped, another thing that you run into is that's when you have people that can't stomach the losses at that point, because they've been told so many times that this is going to this is going to happen, we're going to make this amount of money. Prime example, XRP to 589. You have so many people just building it up. So you take that $1,000 that you're speaking of. Once you take that $1,000 and you sink it into it, and you're riding that thing out, and you're 2 years into it. In 2 years, who has the stomach to take a 50% loss in 2 years on that $1,000? Who's going to ride that out to really and truly see it through to the other side to where it's actually profitable for them?
Right.
I understand hyping something, but also turn around and let them know, okay, we've hyped this up, but the potential is still there for you to lose 3/4 of your money.
Or all of it.
Or all of it. Is it possible for it to go up, or is it probable for it to go up? Let's specify which it is, and really and truly, not only influence someone into making a decision, but influence someone into digging into the project and digging into the past of cryptocurrency. How many years did XRP sit under a penny? How many years did that happen? And the people that were really and truly investing in it and just riding it out, hoping one day it was going to become a vision, years later, it bust up over a penny. And that was some exciting times for a lot of people. You know what I mean? So you got to have a gut check time and really understand what this is that we're investing in, and understand that the what happened in 2017 was not an overnight success. That took 7 to 8 years of building up to get to that point. Who has the stomach to ride this thing out? Who is going to take the loss? Who's going to sell out early? And who's going to be standing at the top of the mountain saying, "Give me your money"?
Yeah, like to your point earlier, it happens in the stock market, just like it's going to happen in this space. People, they try trading, and I'm guilty of that. When I didn't know any better, and you're trading stock and you do it from an emotional perspective. Oh, I just feel like it's going to go this way, or Jim Cramer on TV is saying it's going to do this, or I saw so and so, or someone else has invested in it, so it's going to be great, and then you see it start, and so you buy at some height, and then it starts going down, and that's the trend. You talked about that too. That's buy high, sell low. Unfortunately, a lot of people get stuck into that trap. Here in the digital asset space, we don't even have companies necessarily behind a project. So, so you don't even know. I mean, it's all very speculative. So now it's almost like, in my opinion, I feel like money that I'm putting into the space, it's there. I don't care about it anymore. It's just money that if tomorrow everything went to zero, I'd continue with my life. And it's not going to, it's going to suck, but it's not going to impact me one way or the other because I've already forgotten about it.
I don't think that it's impossible to trade cryptocurrency and make money, but I realistically think that is going to be some seasoned traders that are going to be able to do that. I don't think that your everyday investor, your new kid on the block that heard about Bitcoin and just wanted to buy some Bitcoin, I don't think that trying to attempt to trade cryptocurrency and attempting to try to read charts is healthy. Right. I think that you should really and truly, if you're going to invest in it, you should understand that it is an investment. And but that day is coming. But the only way we're going to be able to for your everyday person to go out and take some minor classes on chart reading and actually make some money trading on cryptocurrency, you have to wait for this market to mature. You have to wait for the billion of dollars that is in the market cap. You need to wait on that to turn into the trillions of dollars, like what you see in the everyday stock market. And everybody keeps saying, well, once that money comes, we're just going to shoot up through the roof. Granted, we will have price increases at that point, but the higher the market cap goes, the slower the charts are going to go, and it's going to seem like it takes forever for just say an Elliott wave pattern to play out. By the time you get your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 through the Elliott wave, it's going to take forever for that to play out at that point in time.
Gotcha. And I think too, when we look at Ripple, the company, at what they're doing as far as foundational things, I think people are missing it sometimes, that this takes years to set up. And people expect they flip the switch and they open a new corridor and this happened. Look, there's a lot of people over at Ripple that are software engineers that are putting stuff together that created this method, right, of being able to, in XRP obviously is the digital asset they're using. But when they lay this groundwork, I think the part that people are missing is that Swift had market dominance for the last 40 plus years and nobody really went into it, right? They've sort of been the market leader. No one's even attempted to go there. Now you can see some of the moves they're making behind the scenes. But what I think people are missing is that once Ripple puts this into place, even if another solution comes along, it would be difficult to unwind from the software, from the methodology and how it works, the infrastructure. So talk a little bit about some of the big things you think has happened over the last year, like maybe 1, 2, or 3 things that Ripple's done that has impressed you as far as from a company perspective, and then you can also maybe tie that into XRP.
I think that some of the biggest things that Ripple has done to impress me is just their never giving up. They have continuously pushed in one direction and fought FUD after FUD after FUD, lawsuit after lawsuit, and really and truly just see a vision, and they got tunnel vision going to the end of that vision. And I think that that's just impressive all the way around, because it's very easy to get sidetracked and want to see so many different things happen, and they're just really just locked in, focused, going in the same direction that they need to go to. As far as the corridors and everything else, I'm you hear about corridor A opening up, corridor B opening up, corridor C opening up, but what you don't hear about is the percentage of that corridor that is actually going through, whether it be XRP or whatever is going through it, a smart contract through Ethereum or whatever is going through that corridor, the minute amount of percentage that is going through it, that really and truly is not going to affect my holdings, your holdings, or Jeff's holdings, or anybody watching this video's holdings. That day is coming, but I think that Ripple has done a great job with staying grounded and not letting us lose too much focus. They throw some stuff out here and there that really and truly get us very excited, and we see markets start to move a little bit. But you have to understand that it doesn't take a lot of money to move a market. When you look at how many people are actually invested in this market, you could have one whale come in here and just flip the whole market one direction or the other over one piece of good news or one piece of bad news. So it's very immature at the moment, but it's ramping up, building up to where it needs to go to. As far as the future of XRP, there again, I can't see the future, but I love the fact that we have companies outside of Ripple that are working towards making XRP a reality, and that right there makes me more bullish than anything, because what other space do you have? What other projects do you have that have two or three other companies fighting as hard as the main company behind the project, fighting as hard as that company to really take this project somewhere? You don't really see that a lot. I think the way that they have built a foundation and brought in key players from every side of the industry, I think that is some of the most bullish prep work that I've ever seen out of a company, and it gets me really excited to see where it goes. It might, always that possibility that it might not ever go anywhere. It might just be the underlying technology in which everybody wants. But we're starting to see more and more every day that is not the case, that things are really coming in that are pointing in the right direction of XRP being used to actually bridge assets and do what it's supposed to be doing. That's exciting, considering that I'm a firm believer that Bitcoin is a failed experiment. And I think that they really and truly, they got it right this time. And it's really going to happen. In my opinion, it's really going to happen and come to the head of, it was made for a certain purpose, and now it's going to do that certain purpose. And I'm just really excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, so that's interesting, and I believe, I share your opinions in terms of, what Ripple's accomplished, what they're doing, their focus, and they're changing an industry, and that's for cross-border payments. They're taking on a behemoth, that's been around since the early 70s, so that's impressive, when you have an organization that's been the stronghold of the banking industry for 40 plus years, and that's who they're taking on, and it's, so you have 10,000 customers utilizing Swift. They've got up to 300 starting to use their solution. So it's still a drop in the bucket, but 40 years versus what they've been at it for 7 years now, developing and building. I mean, that's pretty impressive that they have this solution. The other point is that Ripple, with any other potential competitor in this space, is 7-8 years ahead of everybody else. And I think, Chip, you mentioned that as well, and so that gives them this major head start. But you can also see, like what you're saying, is that they're bringing in all the top brass. They're recruiting people even from a government outreach for some key people that were involved in the Token Taxonomy Act and trying to get that, passed through, Congress. And so they're putting all the right pieces in place. And when we look at the industry as a whole, uh, there's, like you said, there's very few companies out there that are taking that kind of an initiative, and you have Ripple, whether or not XRP becomes the solid foundation of ODL, of their on-demand liquidity or not, because we can see they're functioning without it. However, that's the game changer of their solution. Otherwise, they're just a slightly better version of Swift.
That's
The
right.
on-demand liquidity is the game changer that nobody else has, that everybody wants. And you can't just turn on a switch overnight. And that's what everyone kept talking about. Oh, when are they going to turn on the switch? There is no switch. It's a little bit at a time. Like you said, no one's identifying the percentages of how much is actually going through each one of these rails. Like with MoneyGram, and they had the Mexico rail. Was it 10% of their transactions were just to Mexico were on utilizing XRP, and they're testing it, and little by little they're going to keep ramping it up. But there's no way ever that a bank is all of a sudden going to say, oh, we're on to this new solution and it's completely foreign to everybody in this bank. No one's ever done anything like this before. And oh, we're just going to flip the switch on. It takes years. And that's where, again, Ripple has a huge head start above everybody else, right? I mean, do you agree with that thought process?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well above and beyond what anybody else is doing. You could tell that. You could tell that really in the end of 2017, beginning of 2018. You could really tell how much further ahead they were than everybody else. And I'm just really excited to see where it's going to go, what's going to happen. Like I say, you just never know what the end result's going to be. But I think realistically that if XRP fails, that's not a good sign for all of cryptocurrency. Everybody always says, well, if Bitcoin fails, it's not a good sign for all cryptocurrency. I really and truly, I think that we will see the day when Bitcoin is an altcoin. So I don't think that Bitcoin is going to be the one that can't fail. I think that the first one out of the gate that are building true partnerships, that are building true utility, they're really working with the governments, that are working with the banks, that are teaching the IMF how this really and truly works, that are trying to step in and free up dormant capital of trillions of dollars just sitting in bank accounts all over the world. If XRP fails, really and truly, I see all of crypto failing.
Yeah, that's interesting. So now, what do you think about Libra?
I think that Libra is a lot further along than any of us think. I really do. Do I feel like Libra is going to be something that cancels out cryptocurrency like XRP? No, I don't. Simply for the fact that it is a stable coin, 100% stable coin. So therefore it has to be tied to something. Once it's tied to something, then it's at the mercy of that. And not to mention that one thing that really concerns me is that with the stable coins, there is somebody sitting out there that you have to ask permission to get your money back out of that. And that really bothers me, that I have to go ask permission to get my money out of it. How is that going to work in the long haul? How's that going to work in the long run? Not to mention the little small basket of currencies in which they're wanting to work with. At the end of the day, with it being a global, with it being a stable coin, trying to move value, it's still going to need something to bridge it outside of that little small basket of currencies in which it's trying to be pegged to. I'm not huge supporter of stable coins. I don't understand why we need so many of them. I mean, if you look on Binance right now, how many stable coins is actually listed on Binance alone? Why do we need that many? What is it actually working towards? What is it improving? I don't understand the whole concept between all of the stable coins in which we have. Could I see something like Libra taking the place of USDT or USDC or any of those type of stable coins? I don't think that would be a bad idea in the long run. If we could limit it down to one or two stable coins that are back to something, just like the CBDCs that are going to be back to a nation. I don't see the I don't see the bad in that. We definitely need each economy to have their own digital currency. That way we're able to bridge something.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's, so there's so many things at play that, that most people aren't necessarily connecting the dots, or they're connecting dots that aren't really there, but I'm thinking, that you have Libras at play, like you said, a lot further ahead than what people think they are. I tend to agree with that. I also agree that, their solution, it's a different type of solution as well. There's a lot of people in the world, from the unbanked, quote unquote unbanked. There's more and more people that need to join the economy. XRP is a solution to move mass amounts of money, even though people, allude to it also being able to be a mechanism for micropayment, which is true. There isn't a phenomenal solution yet for that. And Libra with Facebook and WhatsApp, and 2 point whatever billion users, is a mechanism to where they can flip a switch and say, hey, we have a third of the world's population now utilizing Libra. And it might even be a behind the scenes type of thing. Just like, in my opinion, with XRP, I believe that a few years from now, most people probably won't even know what XRP is, but yet XRP is going to be, utilized within the banking infrastructure. Similar to, if I'm going to use and move money overseas right now, most people don't know what Swift is. And Chip and I talk about this a lot. The current of the technology, people aren't necessarily going to care about it. You have investors that might care about it, but everybody else, they're going to utilize technology and have no idea how the technology works.
How long, I mean, realistically, how long do you feel like before something better than XRP comes out? Everything has a shelf life. Just like I do, just like you do. Every bit of technology has a shelf life. Realistically, how long before something better comes out?
I've got to believe that there's other things that are already in the works. There's no way that, that Ripple is the only one right now that's putting together a solution like this. There has to be somebody. I just don't believe they're the only ones. We're just not hearing about it yet. So, there's, like you said, there's a window of opportunity. Is it a couple more years? The race is on. Once they perfect it and they do, start transacting, and the switch does come on, and you start seeing utility, it's a lot easier now for people to make a use case. It's interesting because Ripple's the one that's making a use case without any foundation, because they can't turn to, ABC company and say, well, ABC company, here's what they do, go down the line, and here's why they were successful with a solution like this, with on-demand liquidity, with a digital asset. They can turn to Swift, and that's where they've been recruiting customers. They can turn to Swift and say, Swift as a messaging communication solution is way outdated. Here's our platform. Here's why it's so amazing from a digital, here's, digitized version of whatever, we're able to move transparent, we can speed up the process. By the way, we have this on-demand liquidity, and people look at them, probably, not understanding what that meant, especially before, when they had X current, X via, X rapid. It was super confusing trying to connect the dots. So now once it's established and they're already proving the case, I think the race is on now. I really do. And I believe that someone else is going to come to the stage and say, here's what Ripple did with XRP. Here's what we're going to do. It might be equal to, it might be a little better. Right now, it seems like they have the ultimate solution. There's brighter minds that are involved in the space that probably can see, maybe gaps and holes in the process somewhere. I don't know, and when they do, that's the company that's going to try to fill in those gaps and say, here's why we're better. It might even come down to, and Chip, this is to you. This is an interesting question to you, because we talked about this the other day, transactions per second, right? So this is, the transactions per second with XRP, what is it, 1,000, 1,500 per second? And Visa is what?
70,000 per second. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, but here's the way I look at this whole thing. I think Ripple is going to surprise you. They're going to be a market leader for a pretty long time. I mean, who's going to come? What are they going to bring? I know you guys can do it in 3 seconds, but we can do it in 1.2 seconds. I mean, so speed wise, ours are instantaneous. You blink your eyes and it's already there. I mean, so you look at what their offering is, and I think like you made a really good point on the on-demand liquidity. People understand what that is. You know, if you name a company something bizarre, you have all these, you know, this is what happens when tech people sort of organize what hits the general public. It gets all construed and nobody can figure it out. And this is a lot of times you go to these websites, you can tell it was done by a programmer versus somebody that understands how interaction works. So when I look at Ripple, I think they're going to be, you can move $20 million from Miami to Tokyo. You can change, you know, from fiat, from the American dollar over to the Japanese yen for what? A couple drops. So who's going to come in there and say, I know it's a couple drops, which is a hundredth, you know, actually more than that of a penny. No, we got a better solution. Ours is free, right? So yeah, they might be able to do better on the transactions. Although what I like about the way Ripple's set up, they don't have veto rights anymore. So it's when people still go on these long rants about Ripple, well, it's a centralized company. True, centralized company. XRP decentralized. So the voting rights, since there's more nodes that sit on the network right now than what Ripple controls, they don't have veto power. They can't make decisions. But they had the right idea in the beginning by allowing this shift to be able to change, because it's the same thing that Charles Hoskinson said about what was happening with Ether and Ethereum, right? They went to solve the problem that Bitcoin's had a shortfall. And in solving that problem, they realized, we kind of missed the boat on the transaction side of it. And how many transactions can we have? What I like about these newer coins, altcoins coming out, is they already are building flexibility in by allowing an opportunity to change the thinking and allow it to grow and put it up for a vote and let the vote happen and then be able to shift and change. So I think the groundwork they're laying down right now, it's the same thing as Swift. Swift, even though Ripple's and okay, you can have it there in 3 seconds, it costs a couple of drops. This is amazing. And the banks are still like, but we've always used Swift, but we love Swift, but Swift is the way. I mean, what are you talking about? This is madness, right? But banks are into one thing. Banks really, their main goal is to make money, to make as much money as they possibly can. And other doors are closing where they can go ahead and make money. So even though they say, what kind of sorcery are you talking about? What do you mean you can move money? It's out there. And I think the banks are really kind of not pulling the trigger. You see B of A files a patent. It includes something with the ledger. Everyone's all like, oh, 589 tomorrow. I think the real big deal there is that these banks get slapped every time they look the wrong way. There's somebody inside. They do insider trading. They have money laundering. They get fined billions of dollars. They're not going to volunteer to be in front of a firing squad to pull the trigger too fast without any sort of I would say what's the word I'm looking for, Jeff? Blanked out there for a second. Regulation, right? They have to have the regulation in place, and I think people are tired of hearing that. But let's face it, the SEC is trying to do it right. They don't want to make a misstep because it could cost a lot of people, and everyone's going to look and follow them in the space. But we already are seeing Germany. We're seeing what's happening in Bermuda. There's some amazing things going on in the space, and it's a lot easier when you're a smaller company or a country. But you're always tied back to taxes, right? Let's not kid ourselves what this is really about. The government wants to track everything you're doing. It's exactly why China is so big on blockchain. Everyone's like, ooh, they're such a progressive nation. It's awesome when you follow everything every citizen does. And now you have blockchain to see every payment that every one of your citizens makes. And if they misstep, boom, they get the prison for the rest of their life. So I actually think Ripple is going to be around as a market leader. I'd love to see other people come in this space. Competition always makes everybody better. When you're the only game in town, which basically Bitcoin was for a while, no one thought about innovation, but people started seeing its shortcomings. And this is what's amazing about this space. This new asset class that we have in blockchain is phenomenal. So I guess I would put it out there that I think they're going to be around a lot longer than people think, and something might come in this space. I don't know what their better offering is, and I don't know how long it's going to take for them to lay the groundwork and the strong foundational stuff that Ripple's been building, especially with the XRP.
It's not so much. It's not so much that they're going to offer something better. It just could be the name. Like right now, you prefer your iPhone. I prefer my Android. Which one's better? We could debate over that all day long. I use let's say you use T-Mobile or Verizon or AT&T, or somebody wants to use Metro PCS because it's a cheaper solution. There's so many options out there. For to show that there's competition, but yet one platform isn't necessarily better than the other. It comes down to marketing and preference. And I think in this space, to your point, yes, Ripple is going to be around for a long time. I think they're changing an industry. They're not going anywhere, but yet the next competitor, it's just going to be competition. That's it. And that's why they need to build it and prove it. Because the next guy, when they come along, they say, well, these guys proved it, but now I'm going to build the same thing. I'm just going to call it something cool, and it's going to have a nice color to it. It's going to be orange, and all flashy. And that's why they're going to buy it. Who knows? Who knows what the bankers are thinking.
That's true, but you can't discount the foundational stuff they're lying, because what people don't know behind the scenes. But Ripple's making software, right? They charge a lot of money. So when they do an installation, they put it in there and they're building the roads. I mean, it's not like somebody. I mean, can you imagine somebody at one of these banks typing in a number? Let's see. I get that number wrong. They're scanning a QR code to send the money. Yeah, listen, I'm going to route $120 billion. I hope I get it right. And they press the button. God, I missed the number. Now, I'm not saying there's not going to be competition. I actually welcome competition. Yeah, someone else just wakes up in their ledger one day and they're like, "What the hell happened?" They're on Coinbase and they're like, "Something bad happened, but I'm going to try to cash out, $100 billion." I don't know, Malpass. What do you think about this whole thing as far as who's gonna, how long? I mean, do you expect competitors to come into the space in the next 1 to 3 years? What is your take on that?
I think that the competitors that are going to come in this space are already here. I think they got some catching up to do. I think realistically they're about 6 years behind. I think that what Ripple has created with RippleNet, with RippleNet Home, and with on-demand liquidity, I think that they're going to be targeting certain customers, and I think that we all understand that that's going to be more so banks and payment providers. But then you're going to have other payment solutions, and a lot of people don't know a lot about ADA as far as a payment solution. But I think that once they catch up, but like I say, they're about 5, 6 years behind everybody else. I think that they're going to be a big competition for some payments moving across the globe. But I think that what they're doing and what they're creating with working with Swift or replacing Swift or however you want to look at that situation, I think that they're going to be in the game for a long time. I don't think that's going to be a couple of years before somebody comes in and moves them out. I think realistically it's going to take something big, maybe some quantum computing or something, hash graph. It's going to take something big to really and truly move them out of that space in which they're actually creating. I'm really confident in them moving forward with pretty much dominating that probably for the rest of my lifetime. I mean, I probably don't have another 30 years in me. But
come on, James. You do. You're strong, man. You can do this. You can do it, man. Hey, listen, I got a couple rapid fire questions. We always like to get to know people a little bit better on when we bring them on the roundtable. So I'm going to hit a couple questions that's like it's one or the other. Then I got another one to finish up with. So dog or cat?
Dog.
Netflix or YouTube?
Both. Constantly.
Oh, one more. There's got to be one that leads, no?
Nah, that's pretty much my day. Netflix and YouTube.
Nice. Okay, so we'll give you both on that one. Phone call or text?
Text.
Cake or pie?
Dang. I'm a fat
Ooh.
kid. I want pie. I could put fruit in pie. There you go.
There you go. Make it healthy, right?
Right.
So a big party versus a small gathering?
Man, let's blow it out. Let's get big.
Right on. Football or basketball?
Football.
Car or truck?
Truck.
Meat or vegetables?
Meat.
Ocean or mountains?
Ocean.
Here's the all-important question that everybody's been dying to know. When it comes to the TP, the toilet paper, is it over or under?
It's under.
Wow.
Yeah, under.
See, I'm an over. See what you got there?
See, if you're
Look at
over,
that.
you're over, and you go to tear. Next thing you know, boom, all of it's in the floor. If you're going up, you just get it off there real quick.
All right. See, that's the thing about James Malpass. He brings logic and reason to the space. Never looked at it from that perspective. Hey, so what were you like in high school?
Fighter. Always got in trouble.
Had the fisticuffs all the time?
Yeah.
Did you get suspended at all from school?
Yes, several times.
Oh, nice. So your parents got that call.
Ended up in a high school courtroom where they decided whether or not I was able to go back to high school or not.
Holy cow. You've really, now I see you more as a lover and less as a fighter these days.
Absolutely. I grew out of that.
Nice. Yeah. Well, everybody has an opportunity to mature. So are you a morning or night person?
Man, I go to bed about 3 a.m. and wake up about 5 a.m.
So both.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So do you have any weird quirks?
Yeah, I like y'all.
Yeah, that's the most bizarre of them all. I don't know.
That's a little on the.
That's
It's a little bit weird. So
No,
hey,
weird court, man. My old lady picks at me all the time. I have to have my peanut butter and jelly mixed together before I can put it on the bread.
look at that. See?
oh,
Did you ever
interesting.
put bananas on there? Like Elvis used to put bananas and peanut butter.
I do bananas and mayonnaise, not banana and peanut butter.
Oh, that's weird, man.
That's
Oh man. Just
oh.
everybody's running for the door right now. They're like, thanks, Mel. I just puked in my mouth a little bit when you said that.
Yeah,
Oh
I was all fired up with the banana peanut butter
I
conversation.
was like,
That's
yes.
awesome.
And then really? How did you discover that? How old were you? Did you just like experiment, pull everything out of the refrigerator one day?
Man, that was given to me. That was given to me about when I was about 6 or 7 years old, and it's just been a
By
good
who?
conversation. My mom.
What?
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, she must have.
Wow. Hey, so what's one thing that you own that you wish you didn't own?
This little poodle.
Yeah.
Yeah, this little poodle gets nerve-wracking.
Well, he made an appearance earlier while you were saying something really important. He was back there yipping and hollering. So you just have the one dog then?
Yes, for now.
Right. So you might be getting maybe one of those big hunting dogs
one.
or something.
No, once that dog right there goes, I'm gonna be pet free for a little while. Besides just my fish, and I'm gonna enjoy freedom without pets for a little while. And then when it's time to get it back, I'm gonna get a Great Dane or something.
Nice. Hey, I was going to ask you. So
That's a good choice.
one last question. Do you have like a favorite, like a movie quote or a favorite quote that you like?
Absolutely.
Can you recite it? The gist of it anyway?
Love God, love others, and serve both. Because we might not have it all together, but together we can have it all.
Boom, right there.
Nice. I like that.
That is very good. Yeah, I always love when you put that. That's one of the things that makes you unique, man. I mean, it's like getting out there and saying I think that's one of the reasons that you're doing amazingly well with your channel and how it's blown up, because you're real. You're a real person, man. It comes through. Your authenticity is there, and it's you're not hyping. You're kind of, I wouldn't say like looking in the future, but you're kind of like saying to people, hey, listen, man, be careful when you take that step, but take it, but no financial advisor. So it's one of the things I really appreciate about what you've always done. Obviously we know you from the zoo, and the zoo's been phenomenal. And I love what you're doing on your channel because, man, that authenticity just shines through, and I had a power watch and listen to some of them today, and I really enjoyed it, man. It's really good stuff. And then you always ended. I was like, damn it, you were just on a roll. Where are you going, man? So
I really appreciate the support. It's a new adventure every day. Trying to get stuff together, to put a video together for. We're all learning together. None of us know all of it. None of us have all of it figured out.
That's not what Jeff says.
One thing I encourage everybody, anybody watching this video, anybody watches my videos or any other content creator, always double check, man. Don't take it to heart. Understand that the space is growing, the space is changing every day. Nobody is accountable for your money like you are. So just really and truly do your research, double check behind everybody, and make sure that you're comfortable with what you're investing in.
Thank you, Malpass. The OTC awesome. Lawyers are happy now that you've given the disclaimer live.
Yeah, we checked that box, and I want to throw this out there because I'm really fired up about it. But next weekend, we're interviewing an interesting company, and this company is called Karus Chain. Karus chain.com, Karus chain.com. And it's interesting because it's a blockchain solution for managing and tracking the mining process. And we're talking about mining of precious metals.
Okay.
So, and they just incorporated and partnered with a big mining software company. And so we're going to have, I'm not sure of the three, but it's going to be, two or all three, or maybe just one of the CEO, CTO, or COO of the company. We're really excited about doing that interview next week. So that's going to be next weekend. We're doing the interview. The premiere should drop probably on Tuesday of next week. Now, we're airing Sunday. So Tuesday, meaning in 2 days, we're going to be premiering an interview that we did with Guillaume Chamont from X Network. He's the CEO of X Network, CEO and founder of X Network. And we had a great conversation with him. We dug a little bit more into the X Network solution, talked about the X Bank, the X Cash, what their goal is for creating the plug and play blockchain for companies. And we talked to them about a lot of other things as well. So tune in on Tuesday to hear more about X Network. So with that, any parting words before we go?
Real quick about the interview with the miners. I got a really good friend of mine that is in the space that is involved in that type of work as a profession. They actually own a company. They actually own a company that does that. So keep me informed on that. I will reach out to this person and see if maybe they would like to do a follow-up after your interview and maybe talk about how that would really affect them in their personal life and their personal business. That they travel all over the globe doing that, and just really good person. And they might actually sit down and have a conversation with you after that and just see.
Oh man, that'd be awesome. Yeah, if you set something like that up, we do a roundtable and we, get the three of us on with them. That'd be phenomenal.
That's right.
I'd love to do that. That'd be great.
That's right. Guys, I definitely appreciate y'all having me on. It's always a blast sitting around talking about some of the things that I really enjoy with some people that I really enjoy. It's always a good time. But like always, guys, just we may not have it all together, but together we can have it all. If there's somebody out there that don't know something, don't bash them, pick them up. Let them understand the space, and instead of hyping, let's be more realistic about situations and help people better control their finances and better make smart decisions on what it is they're investing in. Let's not lead them blindly. As we're influencers, we have a duty, we have an obligation to really and truly be accountable for our actions. And we need to really ask ourselves, are we leading positively or are we leading negatively? And either way, we need to be accountable for our actions. We need to be accountable for the aftermath of what comes afterwards. So
well said, Malpass. Listen, thank you for coming on. I want to thank everybody for being here today, being in the chat, and like and subscribe. Also, we have if you look in the description right now, if you're not subscribed to James Malpass's channel, his YouTube channel, it'll be down in the description. Just click over there, go ahead and sub. It's really a great ride. You're going to enjoy it. If you're not subbed by any chance, we have another YouTube channel too. Sub to that one. And man, we're giving you lots of things to do. But I want to thank you again, James, for being here. Jeff, as always, it was great. Go to onthechain.io. We're going to be rolling out 2 new contributors. One of them is Jerry Hall, who's already joined the On the Chain team. And we have another new contributor, which you watch onthechain.io. You'll see this person very shortly, who's also going to be joining and contributing some videos. Thank you very much for being here tonight, and we look forward to the next one.
Awesome. See ya. Thanks, Malpass.
Thank you, man.
Right.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.